Welcome to an overview of the key new features of InstantAtlas Desktop version 6.5.0. First of all, we have a new template, which is free for all who have a software license which covers the double map time series template. It is called Double Base Layer Template, and as the name suggests, it allows you to create a report where your map contains two base geographies which you can see at the same time. Like in the example I have here, it is very useful to display graduated points over shaded polygons. The shaded polygons show a categoric indicator with a risk level for a particular disease. At the same time, you can see in the proportional point symbols the number of cases of this disease for each country where it occurred. Both base layers come with a table, a legend, a bar chart, a time series chart, and a pie chart. The bar chart and time series chart for the polygon layer are for this example not included. You can link the two indicators for both layers by deleting the second data button in Data Explorer, as I did here in this report. If I now change the data to another disease, you can see that the data for the point layer also updates. There are also several new charts available in the single map report, one of which is a pyramid chart, which you can see here in this example report. It will commonly be used as a way to display population data, split up into different age groups and genders. The data needs to be organized in two themes. The first one for the male population and the second one for female. The indicators represent the different age groups, and you can have several time periods for each age group. This Excel workbook is the one I used to create the data XML file for this report. I included a time animation into the report, so when I click play, I can see the development of the population over time for the selected area. This report here summarizes the remaining new components. Here on the left, I included the statistics component, which calculates on the fly several statistical values, such as sum, mean, median, min and maximum value, and so on, for the currently selected indicator. If I apply a filter, these values update to only include the areas which are part of the filter. You do not need to supply these values beforehand. The report calculates them automatically for you. At the bottom of the report you can see the dot plot. This new chart shows you the distribution of the indicator values around the mean. The gray shaded box shows you the range of plus minus half the standard deviation. The whiskers end at 1 standard deviation on each side. At the very left and right, you can see the dots of the minimum and maximum values. This chart has two modes. The current mode is a distribution mode. It can be changed to the interquartile mode, where the gray box will represent the interquartile range. The vertical line in the box will be the median, and the whiskers end at the 95th percentile on either side. If you add Google Maps as a background layer to your report, you can add the Google search box, which allows the end user to search your map, for example for postcodes, street names, or other places of interest. The search result will always be limited to the area of your base geography. So in this example, if I typed in Paris, nothing would come up, because there isn't any place called Paris in Edinburgh. If I search, however, for Queen, I get a whole list of places with the text Queen in the name. I can now select the location I was looking for from the list. The map will center to this location and a red marker will appear. This marker might be hidden behind the base geography, so if I toggle this layer off, I can see it. Another new feature in version 6.5.0 is that it is now possible to define different table column labels for each indicator. If I change my data to indicator 2, you will see that the column headers change. This is set up in the metadata worksheet of my Excel workbook, or if you use Access in the respective table. The metadata element is called alias and underscore, and then it is either indicator if you wish to change the label of the indicator column, or you can use alias underscore and then the name of an associate column that you wish to change the label for. In column D, you can then enter your new labels. In row 5 and 6 here, you can see 2 additional new metadata elements, similar to the ones used to change the labels. These start with the word column and underscore, and allow the administrator to add further columns to the data table for a specific indicator. Column underscore indicator adds the indicator column, and column underscore and then the associate name adds an associate. In this example, it is my associate state. In column D, I entered an alias for both columns. To see the effect, I go back to my report and I change my data to indicator 3. The data table contains the 2 additional columns for this indicator. All associate columns are from now on numeric by default, since most people have numeric data as associates. If your associate is categoric, you will need to set the type to categoric in the metadata worksheet, as I have done here for my state associate. New in 650 is also that you can now use a star symbol as a wildcard character. This works like a joker symbol, so what I entered here in row 2 means that the associate column state in all indicators of theme 1 shall be set to type categoric. This saves me from needing to define this setting for each indicator separately. I included towns as a contextual layer into this report. By default, contextual point layers are displayed as little circles. If you don't like that and you would prefer to see another symbol instead, you can now upload an image file into the publisher, which will be used instead of the circles. When I toggle the town layer on, the towns are displayed as red stars. When installing InstantAtlas, it will save a collection of icons in different shapes and colors into your installation folder. You can either use one of these or create your own icons, preferably in PNG format, since this image format supports transparency of the background. Also new in this release is the What You See is What You Get Designer, short WYSYWYG Designer. To show you what that means, I will open the config.xml file of this report in the Designer. Instead of the wireframe view, the Designer opens by default in the Design view. You can see the look and feel of the report while you change the positions, the size and the settings of components. This makes designing of your report much more user-friendly. Last but not least, I would like to introduce to you the functionality of including geo-RSS feeds as contextual layers into a dynamic report. This is done in the publisher, where you can add a link to one or more geo-RSS feeds. The location of the geo-RSS items will be displayed as contextual points in your map. You can enable labels for these contextual layers to see the title of the geo-RSS items, and if you enable tooltips, the content of the content, summary or description attribute will show when you mouse over the points. You can even make them sticky by clicking with your mouse when the tooltip appears. Now it would be possible for me to follow a hyperlink in the description if there was one. I hope this little video makes you excited to try out all these new features for yourself. If you have any questions about the new 650 release, please don't hesitate to contact the GeoWYSY support team on support@geowys.co.uk.